The story picks up in a completely different place, far away from Brahms's old mansion. Here we meet Lisa, her young son Jude, and her husband Sean. At first it seems like an ordinary family situation. One evening, while Sean is away on a business trip, Lisa stays at home with Jude. As the night grows quiet, she hears a strange noise. Assuming it must be her son, she goes to check on him, only to stumble upon burglars who have broken into the house. Lisa tries to defend herself, but the intruders overpower her, leaving her unconscious on the floor while Jude witnesses everything in horror. 5 months later, Sean has returned home, but the family's life is fractured. Lisa and Sean's marriage is strained, and Jude has been left deeply traumatized by what he saw. Under the care of Dr. Lawrence, his therapist, Jude attends regular sessions. He refuses to speak and communicates only through a notebook where he draws unsettling pictures, mostly of the burglars. Dr. Lawrence suggests that Jude's healing depends not only on therapy but also on the improvement of his parents' relationship. That night, Jude asks if he can sleep in his parents' bed, and they agree. But while they rest, Lisa experiences a terrifying nightmare, which in turn frightens Jude. Realizing that the family desperately needs a change of environment, they decide to take a vacation in the countryside, hoping that the quiet will ease their trauma and bring them closer again. They arrive at a guest house managed by Pamela. She offers to show them around, but Sean politely declines. Soon after, the family takes a walk into the woods surrounding the property. While exploring, Jude strays from his parents and discovers a small hand sticking out of the ground. Curious, he digs and uncovers the porcelain doll, Brahms. Meanwhile, Lisa and Sean stumble upon the ruins of the Heels-Hire mansion, the very house from the first story. When they realize Jude is missing, they panic, but eventually they find him, and he is not alone. Jude clutches the doll and insists on keeping it. Lisa reluctantly agrees but insists on cleaning it first. Back at the guest house, they restore the doll to its former appearance and discover a sheet of strict rules tucked into its clothing. They pay little attention to it and put the doll aside for the night. But strange things begin almost immediately. Lisa thinks she sees something moving but dismisses it. The next morning, she finds Jude already awake, sitting with the doll. In Jude's notebook, she notices a phrase written in neat handwriting that Jude himself claims not to have written, "Take me to where you found me." Jude whispers back, "In the woods," as if in conversation with the doll. Later, Sean casually asks Jude what the doll's name is. Jude answers, "His name is Brahms. He told me." Sean laughs it off as a childish game, but the unease lingers. When Lisa and Jude return to the woods, they find a stash of Brahms's clothes hidden near the spot where Jude unearthed him. Suddenly, a dog appears, barking aggressively at the doll. This is Ounce, the loyal pet of Joseph, the stern groundskeeper of the estate. Joseph himself emerges, giving both the doll and Jude a suspicious look. He escorts them back but continues to glance uneasily at Brahms, as though he recognizes something sinister. That evening, something miraculous happens. Jude begins to speak for the first time in months. Overjoyed, Lisa and Sean take it as a positive sign, never suspecting the doll's influence. But the next day, unsettling incidents occur. Jude insists on setting a place at the breakfast table for Brahms. Later, Lisa discovers Jude's teddy bear torn apart. When she confronts Jude, he insists, "It wasn't me. Brahms did it." Lisa, frustrated, punishes him by leaving him in his room with the doll. Moments later, Brahms seems to move his head on his own, and the television flickers on. Lisa convinces herself it must have been Jude playing tricks, but the unease deepens. In therapy, Dr. Lawrence surprisingly encourages the parents to let Jude keep the doll, as it appears to give him comfort and helps him express himself. But Lisa, increasingly worried, investigates the doll's origins. She finds an identification code etched on Brahms's porcelain surface but discovers that it yields no official records. At the same time, she finds chilling conversations in Jude's notebook, dialogues between her son and Brahms. The doll writes, "I'll always be with you." Jude replies, "What if they take you away?" To which Brahms answers, "They won't. If they try, they'll regret it." Terrified, Lisa realizes the doll is exerting a dangerous influence over her child. During dinner one evening, Jude demands that Brahms be served food as well. Lisa refuses, insisting Brahms will not eat that night. Tension fills the room. Later, Lisa tries to show Sean Jude's disturbing drawings, but mysteriously, they have vanished from the notebook. Sean believes Lisa is exaggerating. The following day, disaster strikes. Joseph finds Ounce, his faithful dog, dead. Earlier, in Jude's notebook, a drawing of a dead dog had appeared, an ominous foreshadowing. Meanwhile, Lisa explores the Heels Higher mansion and finds Jude there, seemingly pulled toward the house. Joseph confronts her, explaining pieces of Brahms's dark history, but before long, they return for another session with Dr. Lawrence. Soon after, Jude's cousins arrive for a family visit. His cousin Gwen mocks him for talking to a stupid doll, and an argument escalates. Something terrible happens. Gwen is injured badly enough to be rushed to the hospital. The family leaves with Sean, while Lisa stays behind with Jude. Growing desperate, Lisa searches through the trash and finds the doll's identification code again. She researches it and uncovers horrifying stories of past families who owned Brahms, all of whom met with misfortune and violence. Sean hears similar accounts from relatives and realizes the doll's curse is real. When Lisa returns to check on Jude, she finds him missing. Before she can search further, Joseph blocks her path. He confesses that Brahms has spoken to him too, that he has been under the doll's influence, doing its bidding. According to Joseph, Jude and Brahms are destined to merge, to become one entity. Lisa, horrified, fights Joseph and rushes to rescue her son. She finds Jude in the grand mansion, sitting with Brahms, performing what looks like a ritual. Jude's behavior becomes increasingly sinister. Under the doll's sway, he nearly attacks his own mother. At the last moment, Sean arrives and smashes the doll, breaking its porcelain body. With Brahms destroyed, Jude collapses, seemingly freed from the possession. Joseph, furious, declares that the curse will never end, but he is soon punished himself, consumed by the very evil he served. For a moment, peace returns. The family believes it's over. Jude even tosses Brahms's remains into the fire. They return to their real home, relieved and hopeful. Their marriage begins to heal and their lives seem back to normal. But in the final moments, a chilling twist occurs. Alone in his room, Jude puts on Brahms's cracked mask, looks at his reflection, and whispers, "Good night, Brahms. I think we'll be happy here, as long as they learn to follow the rules." And thus, The Boy 2 closes, leaving us with the unsettling question, is the curse truly broken, or has it only just begun?